Hey guys, welcome back to Scary Story Central. Today I'm gonna read a story about Smile.jpg or Smile Dog. Let's begin. I first met in person with Mary E. in the summer of 2007. I had arranged with her husband of 15 years, Terence, to see her for an interview. Mary had initially agreed since I was not a newsman, but rather an amateur writer gathering information for a few early college assignments. And if all went according to plan, some pieces of fiction we scheduled the interview for a particular weekend when I was in Chicago on unrelated business, but at the last moment Mary changed her mind and locked herself in the couple's bedroom, refusing to meet with me for half an hour. I sat with Terence as we camped outside the bedroom door, listening and taking notes, while he attempted fruitlessly to calm his wife. Mary E. was the seaside off for a small Chicago-based bulletin board system in 1992 when she first encountered Smile.jpg, and her life changed forever. She and Curtis had been married for only 5 months. Mary was one of the estimated 400 people who saw the image when it was posted on a hyperlink on the BBS. Thought though is the only one who has spoken openly about the experience, the rest have remained anonymous or are perhaps dead. In 2005, when I was only in 10th grade, Smile.jpg was first brought to my attention by my burgeoning interest in web-based phenomena. Mary was the most often cited victim of what is sometimes referred to as Smile Dog. The being Smile.jpg is reputed to display what caught my interest, other than the obvious macabre elements of the cyber legend and my positivity towards such things, was the sheer lack of information, usually to the point people don't believe it even exists, or then as a rumor or a hoax. It is unique because though the entire phenomenon centers on a picture file, that file is nowhere to be found on the internet. Certain many photo manipulated simulacra litter the web, showing up with most frequency on sites such as Imageboard, 4chan, particularly the X-Focus Paranormal subboard. It is suspected these are fake because they do not have the effect the true Smile.jpg is believed to have, namely sudden onset temporal lobe epilepsy and acute anxiety. This purpose purport this purported reaction in the viewer is one of the reasons the phantom-like smile dog is regarded with such disdain, since it is patently observed, though depending on whom you ask, the reluctance to acknowledge Smile.jpg's existence might just as be out of fear as it is out of disbelief. Neither Smile.jpg or Smile Dog is mentioned anywhere on Wikipedia, though the website features articles on such other, perhaps more scandalous socks such as redacted, Hello.jpg or Two Girls One Cup. Any attempt to create a page pertaining Smile.jpg is summarily deleted by any of the encyclopedia's many admins. Encounters with Smile.jpg are on the stuff of internet legend. Mary E. story is not unique. There are unverified rumors of Smile.jpg showing up in the early days of Usenet, and even one persistent tale that in 2002 a hacker flooded the forums of humor and satire website Something Awful with a deluge of Smile Dog pictures, rendering almost half the forum's user at the time epileptic. And also it is also said that in the mid-late 90s, the Smile.jpg circulated on Usenet as an attachment of its email with subject line "Smile, God loves you." Yet, despite the huge exposure these stunts would generate, there are very few there are very few people who admit to having experienced any of them, and no trace of the file or any link has ever been discovered. Those who claim to have seen Smile.jpg often weakly joke that they were far too busy to save a copy of the picture to their hard drive. However, all the alleged victims offer the same description of a photo. A dog-like creature usually described as a similar to a Siberian husky, illuminated by the flash of a camera. Sits in a dim room. The only background detail is visible of a human hand extending from the darkness near the left side of the frame. The hand is empty but usually described as a beckoning. Of course, more attention is given to a dog or dog creature, as some victims are more certain other than what they claim to have seen. The muzzle of the beast is repeatedly shaped in a wide grin, revealing two rows of very white, very straight, very sharp, very human-looking teeth. This is, of course, not a description given immediately after viewing the picture, but rather a recollection of the victims who claim to have seen the picture endlessly repeat in their mind's eye during the victim they are in reality having epileptic fits. These fits are reported to continue indeterminately, often while victims sleep, resulting in very vivid and disturbing nightmares. These may be treated with medication, though in some sense it's more effective than others. Mary E. I assumed was not on effective medication. That was why after my visit to her apartment in 2007, I sent feelers to several folklore and urban legend-oriented news group websites and mailing lists, hoping to find the name of a supposed victim of Smile.jpg who felt more interest in talking about his experiences. Over time, nothing happened, and at a length, completely forgot about my pursuits. Since I had begun my freshman year of college and was quite busy, Mary contacted me via email. However, near the beginning of March 2008, to gml@redacted.com from marye@.net. Last summer's last summer's interview. Dear Mr. L, I am incredibly sorry about my behavior last summer. When you came to interview me, I hope you understand. There was no fault of yours, but rather my own problems that led me to act out as I did. I realized that I could have handled the situation more decorously. However, I hope at the time, I was afraid. You see, for 15 years, I've been haunted by Smile.jpg. Smile dog comes to me in my sleep every night. I know that sounds silly, but it is true. There are ineffable quality about my dreams. My nightmares that make them completely unlike any real dreams I ever had. I do not move and do not speak. I simply look ahead, and the only thing ahead of me is the scene from that horrible picture. I see the beckoning hand and I see Smile Dog. It talks to me. It is not a dog, of course, though I am not quite sure what it really is. It tells me it will leave me alone if I only as it asks. All I must do is spread the word. That's how it phrases it. It demands, and I know exactly what it means. It wants me to show it to someone else. And I could. The week after my incident, I received in the mail a manila envelope with no address. Inside there was a half and a half inch floppy diskette without having no check. I knew precisely what was on it. I thought for a long time about my options. I could show it to a stranger or coworker. I could even show it to parents. As much as that idea disgusted me, and what would happen then? Well, if Smile.jpg dog kept its words, I could sleep. Yet if it lied, what would I do? And who was to say something worse would come for me if I did, as the creature asked. So I did nothing for 15 years, though I kept this get hidden amongst my things. Every night for 15 years, Smile Dog has come to me in my sleep and reminded that I spread the word for 15 years. I have stood strong, though there have been hard times. Many of the fellow victims on the BBS board where I encountered Smile.jpg stopped posting. I heard some of them committed suicide, others remained completely silent, simply disappearing off the face of the web. They are the ones I worry about the most. I sincerely hope you will forgive me, Mr. L. But last summer you contacted me and my husband about an interview. I was near the breaking point. I decided I was going to give you the floppy disk, and I did not care if Smile Dog was lying. I wanted it to end. You are a stranger, someone I had no connection with, and I thought I would not feel sorrow when you looked at it as part of your reacher and showed your fate. Before you arrived, I realized what I was doing, trying to ruin your life. I could not stand the thought, and in fact, I spoke out. I am ashamed, Mr. L, and I hope that this warning will dissuade you from further investigation of Smile.dog. You Smile.jpg. You will in time encounter someone if who is if not weaker than I, and wholly more depraved someone will not hesitate to follow Smile Dog's order. Stop while you are still whole. Sincerely, Mary E. Terrorists contact me years later with the month that hers knew that his wife had killed herself while cleaning up the various things he had left behind, clothing, emails, and accounts like he happened upon the above messages. He was a man in Samoa. He wept as he told me to listen to his wife's advice. He found the diskette. He relieved, revealed, and burned it until it was nothing but a stinking pile of blackened plastic. The part that most disturbed him, however, was how the diskette had hissed at it melted, like some sort of animal, he said. I will admit that I was a little uncertain about how to respond to this. At first, I thought perhaps it was a joke. The couple belatedly playing with the situation in order to get a rise out of me. A quick check of several Chicago newspaper online obituaries, however, proved that Mary E. was indeed dead. There was, of course, no mention of suicide in this article. I decided that for a time at least, I will not further pursue the subject of Smile.jpg, especially since I had finals coming up at the end of May. But the world has odd ways of testing us. Almost a full year after I'd returned from my disastrous interview with Mary E, I received another email. Subject: Smile. Hello, I'll find your email address through a mailing list. Your profile said you are interested in Smile Dog. I have saw it. It is not as bad as everyone says. I have sent it to you here. Just spreading the word. Smiley face. The final line chilled me to the bone. According to my email client, there was one file attachment called naturallysmile.jpg. I considered downloading it for some time. It was most likely a fake, I imagined, and even if it weren't, I was never wholly convinced of Smile Dog's peculiar power. Mary E's account had taken me, yes, but she was probably mentally unbalanced anyways. After all, how could a simple image do what Smile.jpg was set to accomplish? What sort of creature was it that could break one's mind with the power of the eye? And if such things were patently absurd, why did the legend exist at all? If I downloaded the image, if I looked at it, and if Mary turned out to be correct, if Smile Dog came to me in my dream, demanding I spread the word, what would I do? Would I live my life as Mary had, fighting against the urge to give it until I died, or would I simply spread the word, eager to be put to rest? And if I chose the latter route, how could I do it? Whom would I burden in turn? If I went through with my earlier intention to write a short article about Smile.jpg, I decided I could attach it as evidence. And anyone who read the article, anyone who took interest would be affected. And even assuming Smile.jpg attached to the email was genuine, would I be capricious enough to save myself in that manner? Could I spread the word? Yes, yes, I could.